All right, let's go. Next question here. It's our guy from Naples, M. Adam CZ. Two graphs, 2-for-1 looks like. This one is pretty relevant to what's going on. I think it's worth discussing in great detail. Let's go ahead. Let's fire up the cannons. Let's fire up the cameras and that generator. Yeah. Oh, I love that sound. You can barely hear it, Corey. You can barely hear it.
Yeah.
It's generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Follow them over at Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. You can talk to talk, or you can walk to walk, though, like our guy Shoe Catcher. You can talk to talk and just follow on Instagram. That's fine. Cummins Lifestyle, do it. Our guy Shoe Catcher the other week, Corey, was saying +1 on Cummins. Here in the Blue Ridge Mountains, the power goes out with storms every now and then. I had a Cummins generator installed. It's been great. Seamless. Reliable. Nice. The company that installed it gave me the choice between that and the more common Generac. But once they explained the difference in quality, having worked extensively on both, the Cummins was a no-brainer.
Okay. All right.
There we go. Making believers out of all of us. Our guy Shoe Catcher, shout out to him, involved early in the show with the question. Again, go to Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. Give them a follow. Noles at the controls of this global power leader, if you will. That's it. Let's get to the question from our guy Mark. Kind of talk a little bit behind inside baseball a little bit, Corey, just about where we're at in this day and age of college athletics. And says, it's crazy how different the college football world is these days. Before NIL and the transfer portal, you'd have your spring camp, spring game, and there was almost nothing to talk about. National Sign Day was done. Now, spring camp's over. We're speculating about which 10 or 12 players are going to leave and who Portal King Mike is going to bring in to improve the roster. Do you guys prefer the current landscape because it may be more exciting to cover for Warchant, or do you prefer the good old days when you knew what your roster would be and didn't have to worry about the crazy free agent market in college football?
I feel like to answer this correctly is hypocritical, because I did like the old version better. I did not like this free-for-all, free agency all the time, every month, every year. But at the same time, if this didn't exist, how many of y'all would be watching this? Like, how many people would be listening to this? You know what I mean? Like, it's the transfer portal and the NIL has helped Florida State so much that me bemoaning it seems a little bit hypocritical. And so, yeah, I've tried.
You'd be hypocritical if you were the Florida Gators because you aren't taking advantage of it. You know, then
well, I can't say that I wish it was back to the good old days when if it was still the way it worked in the good old days. How long would it take in Norvell to get to a 13-0 season under the old structure of having to build a roster, and you don't get to go get Jared Verses and Keon Coleman's and Johnny Wilson's and Jordan Travis's and on and on and on. So Trey Benson's. So that's why I'm saying it's being hypocritical to like kind of long for that part, that day and age of college football, but then know that it would have negatively affected all of our lives if that day and age still existed.
I mean, you're right. You know,
hey, oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
The show, who knows who's talking on this camera right now? There wasn't a transfer portal, but I just long for the days of ignorance being bliss. Like, I get it. You know, whoever the Battle's End or the Grove Collective or whatever Miami calls theirs, Florida Glorious or Victorious, whatever the Gators call theirs, players are getting paid before that. But, you know, there's a few guys you felt like, and you could kind of live with it. But when you see tweets from reporters saying that this player's agent confirms he's going to go visit, I found out last year that apparently players are now getting paid to come visit. It's just something that has taken away some of the glimmer of the sport for me. And again, I think a lot of it too is probably the fact that I actually have to cover it now for a living. I'm looking at it all the time. There's not a lot of days, Saturdays, where I can just kind of be a fan and just watch the sport overall. But yeah, like I'm almost more bothered by the proliferation of coaching staffs than I am the transfer portal, which I know isn't the question. But like the good old days to me too was our 85 and our 10 coaches against you guys. Now it's, well, we've got 39 analysts and they've broken down every single play that you've run an ace formation with a strong set for the last 10 years. So like they know, I feel there's a level of gamesmanship that's been eliminated from college football that's made it kind of sterile and very much NFL light, which I don't like. So I do miss the good old days, but I realize there's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube or the genie back in the bottle.
And for our selfish reasons, because we're a part of a company that covers almost predominantly, Florida State athletics as a whole, but Florida State football is the driving force. Selfishly, it's great for us because there really isn't much of an off season from June, I guess middle of May to like middle of July is kind of your off season, and that's it.
No.
Like other than that, it's nonstop. It's become like and look, I don't report recruiting, but it used to be recruiting would take over December 15th or whatever, and that would be the lifeblood of the website for 2 months, and then it disappears for another 8 months. Well, now the portal keeps you going the whole time. It literally keeps you go from bowl game to transfer. You go from ACC championship game, portal, bowl game, not that the one they just played we should think about or counts, back to the portal, then to spring practice, then back to the portal. There's a signing day in there for high school kids as well, 2 of them. It's nonstop. It's become year-round, which is great for our purposes. And I think overall it's made it a lot more like the NFL where the free agent season is vital and is a really big deal. That's what's starting to happen, and not starting to, it is happening in college football to even more of a degree because everybody's a free agent. Every single person out there is a free agent. So you never know what your roster is going to be from one day to the next. And luckily we have a lot of people that really care about Florida State football, that care about what their roster looks like.
I'll always remember, this is very random, but like the 98 World Cup, Argentina played England in the quarterfinals, I think. And there was a study that showed they believe that London was going to lose somewhere in the ballpark of, I want to say billion with a B, like $1 billion worth of productivity because everybody was going to check out of working and focus on the game.
Oh.
I wonder how many companies in the Southeast, maybe even Cummins included, have lost productivity because now their employees that are college football fans are glued to this stuff all the time. I mean,
it's nonstop. It's not just one day in February anymore. It's nonstop. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know Warchant was always around and that gave you an outlet to come check out the website, but I think a lot of people kind of would be like, all right, it's March now, whatever. I'm moving on. I'll wake me back up in August. But it's like, no. This portal thing, and it's vital, obviously. We've seen how crucial it's been to the development of Florida State. A bonus here, maybe he can be our guy in the bullpen when we need to talk about the ACC versus FSU realignment stuff. On the legal stuff, he says, I'm concerned that the Florida judge ordered the parties to mediation within 120 days. I believe in mediation. I've used it effectively in my practice. That's Mark, not Aslan.
Right.
But 120 days will go really fast, and FSU, as far as we know, is probably not close to completing discovery and organizing a complete picture for a successful mediation. One of Florida State's main themes in this case will be that the ACC acted in a misleading manner and was also incompetent, thus breaching its fiduciary duty to its members. That requires some really effective discovery to prove. As much as we want to exit the ACC like yesterday, I don't know how this case can be mediated within 120 days. Thus, I would not be surprised if the parties stipulated to, let's say, a 90-day extension. Whether the court would accept that stipulation, that's another story.
So then that would be over a year and a half. Or, sorry, a half a year. That'd be 7 months total.
There's your legal beagle news.
Thanks,
everybody.
Mark. Yeah, there you go, Mark. You can get all those kind of comments if you come over to warchant.com.
Yeah, there's your insiders, everybody. Congrats to Mark. He's our weekly winner. He'll enter the drawing for this month of April for a Cummins swag bag, which I hope includes this Travis Matthew polo. I hope they include that. And this thing, I don't want to call it life-changing, but man, it feels really good. Feels really nice. And he also gets a grand prize drawing into the portable generator, portable power station that our friends at Cummins are giving away. Again, folks, just head to Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. Give them a follow. That's all we ask.
Yep.
Check out the mobile power solutions from Cummins, a global power technology leader. Own-in portable generators are versatile portable generators for your everyday or on-the-go power requirements. Choose a model to power your lifestyle, from working on a DIY construction project, tailgating from your pickup truck, or powering your critical home appliances during Florida hurricane season and power outages. Cummins offers own-in portable generators from 2,500 to 9,500 watts. Use promo code TAILGATE, that's TAILG, numeral 8, for a 10% discount
on a P2500i at shop.cummins.com. The P2500i can power you for 10 hours on only 1 gallon of fuel, and its double insulated housing keeps you humming at a peaceful 52 decibels. Get it again for 10% off using the promo code TAILGATE at shop.cummins.com.